everybody, Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. Hey, I keep on promising you guys we're going to get into some pattern making. I'm still a little slow. I got some stuff in, but I'm just not ready to get going on it here yet. So what I'm going to do, we missed our chalk talks. We're going to try to do chalk talks on Wednesdays and then come out with a video Saturday or Sunday. Okay, like a bigger video. We're going to switch them up today. I got to go down to the foundry, so usually I've got limited days I can do that. So I'm going to go down there Tuesday. My cameraman's available that day, so we'll do that as Sunday's video instead of Wednesday. We'll just switch them around. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about, another important thing that we do, again, we have wood selections of different kinds of woods that we use, okay? So in one of the first videos I was showing the different patterns that we're making, okay? So when you're making a pattern, you have to choose the wood or plastic or urethane or even aluminum for high production jobs, and that's what you choose it on, like how many castings you're going to have to make off of that material, okay? So another thing is size also. We can't make a, ship size aluminum pattern. I mean, you probably could, it just wouldn't be, money's an issue with that one here. So basically, larger patterns, we use cheaper pine, use number 2 common. Number 2 common, it's got knots in it, and I believe it's like every 2 feet there are knots, but they're solid knots, they won't come out. I got an example of that here, just a smaller piece. There's a knot here. This is a pretty big knot form, but usually this is for like some guy that wants to do something fairly large and not expensive in only 1, 2, or half a dozen castings and that. You can do more, you can always repair it in that too. So then the next thing we got here, this is a piece of sugar pine. Sugar pine is totally clear. It's just, there's no knots in it whatsoever. The grain is tighter on it. It's machinability of this stuff is really nice. You can carve really good with this stuff too. However, this is, I think, 3 times more expensive than the number 2 common, okay? But it's really nice to work with. And then another thing we use for patterns, here and there, I'll use it because I have the availability of it. There's a Amish mill about half an hour from my house. They go through a lot of poplar. So I use this a lot for, it's telling you about the patterns that we have that we build permanent boxes for. I usually use the poplar for the boxes. A lot of guys will use pine. If I can get this, I'll use this instead. It's a lot more rugged than the pine, and then it usually costs me from the Amish mill about the same as pine, so I'll just go with this. You can use this to make patterns also. It's very stable. The pine's fairly stable too, okay? So that's one of the things, the qualities we need to make patterns, is stability. Alright, so pines are pretty good. Poplar, it's pretty rugged, so if I have a pattern with a few hundred castings I got to run off, and if I got the poplar, I make it out of poplar. Alright, so here I also make my gating with the poplar also, okay, as much as I can if I have it. Right now I'm kind of running low. This is actually a glue-up board that I did for riser stock in that, okay? So you want the grain running the lengthways, so those risers can get anywhere from 4 up to 8 inches long. So I always have a chunk of glue up stock, and I'll show you how to do this in a week or two when we start building some patterns up, okay? And then the best material that we use as far as wood goes is mahogany. Okay, it's a piece of mahogany. The best mahogany to get is Honduras Mahogany. I was watching a video a little bit ago. A gentleman was explaining some different lumbers and that, okay? Like I said, I haven't been reading up on the technical stuff on this for the longest time. When I was in the first shop I used to order lumber and that, they came out with the thing, it's called the CITES list. I forget what the acronym is for, but it's United States only buys lumber from certified forestry companies. Okay, so down in South America, they were just clear cutting and that they weren't ordering from a lot of countries anymore. I think Brazil was one of them. Honduras, I'm sorry. So we started getting mahogany from Brazil, and I forget the other South American country that it was, but you want to get the South American mahogany. The one gentleman was explaining that Honduras mahogany is no longer, but from what I can remember, you want to get the South American mahogany. You can get African mahogany. African mahogany, it's looser grained, and when you machine it, it fuzzes up. It's not good at all. It's not good for pattern making, and the stability isn't as good as the Honduras or South American mahoganies. They're very, very stable. They're very nice to carve, very machinable, and that's the best one. Everybody's like, oh yeah, it's so expensive, it's so expensive. To be honest with you, this is imported, mahogany is imported. The sugar pine comes from out western United States mostly. This is more expensive than the mahogany, believe it or not, okay, or at least from here, what we can get. As far as where you can get all this stuff, I don't know where you live. Here in Ohio, we've got lumber all over the place. Like I said, I live close to Amish country. I can get #2 common pine. I can get the poplar in it. Sometimes I'll use cherry. I have an abundance of cherry also in my house. If I have something small to do and I don't feel like cutting a big chunk of mahogany, you can use cherry, but that's just expensive, so I wouldn't recommend that, but you can use it. Like I said, I've been out of this a long time, and that is technical wise and that, but here, Freeman, I mentioned Freeman before, they have a product that's called Ren, okay, it's Ren Shape, okay, I'm not exactly sure what this one is, and that, but they have a polyurethane and an epoxy. All right, this stuff they use in the CNC shops. They put this on the CNC machines, and when they're cutting this versus the wood, if I put this piece of poplar on the mill and they start milling it with a cutter, you're going to still get fuzzies, not as bad as the African mahogany, and things are going to chip, okay? When you machine this on a CNC machine, it's beautiful, nice and smooth. You paint it afterwards, you put a coating on it. You can cut this on the bandsaw, you can sand it. I've actually made small patterns. If I got something very small to make, I'll make it out of this. I just happened to go to an auction and get a 55-gallon drum of this stuff, so I just picked that up. So if I got something really small, I'll use this stuff. So that's a thing to look for. I didn't mention before, like I said, I don't I'm sorry. Freeman, I don't work for them. I don't get paid for them or anything. It's just I've been using them since I've been in this trade, okay? And they got a lot of good products. They will sell to backyard guys. You just come up and say, hey, my name's Joe so-and-so. They'll sell to you, okay? And they've got places all around the country too. Their headquarters is here in Cleveland. I'm not sure where their other facilities are in that, but they sell some good products. They sell other products like that. And then in the first, video I did with the patterns, they sell some pourable urethanes and that too. They sell wax products. You can get machinable wax if you just make a master pattern. You can machine a wax pattern, pour urethane off of that, okay? But for the most part, I use wood a lot, and unless I'm making multiples. But, preferable, you want to get the mahogany is the #1, best machinable, best stability in that. And then if you can get it fairly cheap, You know, the sugar pine is really good also. And then, you know, last of all, I'll do the number 2. Like I said, that's for like bigger patterns. If I do find a clear piece of the number 2, if I got a small pattern, a small master pattern to make, I'll use the number 2 instead of, like, you know, using a piece of expensive mahogany, make a master, and then pour urethane off of it. I'll use the mahogany unless it's, you know, way big. But for something medium size, I'll go ahead and use the pine. So, tell you what, guys, Tuesday we'll be down to Foundry. Cameraman said he'll be there. We'll film some molding and some pouring down there. I gotta do some bronze work. And we'll pour some bronze down there, and we'll try to get back on the schedule of Chalk Talks Wednesdays and video out Sunday, regular video out Sunday. All right, till then, guys, have a good one out there.